Hello, hello. This is the Awful and Awesome Entertainment Wrap, episode 304. This is Rajyasree and
special guest Manisha Pande.
Yay! Bringing some cerebral inputs into...
No cerebral inputs.
Okay, but we'll pretend that there's some cerebral inputs. I'm crying out of joy also because I have allergies. So I'm crying. So we have something very topical today, right?
Yes.
Because Succession's final episode was on Monday.
Yes.
And just this is for all the listeners and viewers who have not watched Succession's final episode yet. There are going to be spoilers.
There'll be lots of spoilers.
Yeah.
So do not watch this episode if you have not watched it.
But also if you haven't watched it by Friday, I don't think you're a real fan. So
and then we don't care about you.
Yeah. So then there's only so much sensitivity and concern you can show for people. You have to care for yourself. We can't care for you. This is the tough love the government also tells us. You care for yourself. We can't care for you.
If you've not watched it, we don't care.
Yeah. So
and like Logan, we will tell you to that we shouldn't do.
We should not.
You're our viewers after all.
Valuable subscribe. So if y'all haven't watched it, like
please watch it.
Abhinandan Sekhri, watch from season 1 onwards. It's honestly worth it, but you now have to watch it on Jio Cinema, which is honestly not worth it at all because it stops buffering.
It just randomly stops.
Horrible.
It was a real pain watching the last few episodes on Jio. Jio, please
do something.
Fix your game.
So we will start with Succession.
Which has, I think, the best... it has amazing music, by the way.
Yeah, the music
I think the score is just fabulous. And the last episode, the music was just mind-blowing. At different points, the pace and every time, it was just really good. And it was just...
it's been scored by Nicholas Bruchel.
Yeah.
And it's just fabulous, that soundtrack, absolutely. And... so the final episode for, how would you not know this? But it's basically about what is going to happen to the empire, to Logan Roy's empire. And there's this takeover bid by Gojo, which is like this whole thing of the digital age coming in and taking over
run by this guy called Lucas Matson, who's probably like a mix of Elon Musk
but
plus a few other tech bros.
Yeah, but very good looking version of all of them put together because it's Alexander Skarsgård. He is good looking. And he has that
He's
slight...
such a creepy character that I couldn't
he
look
has
at him
a creepiness to him, which was there in Big Little Lies. He plays Nicole Kidman's husband, who beats her up routinely. Even in this,
he has this crazy, freaky streak to him. So I didn't view him as particularly good looking.
Eastern
European
thing.
Before we started rolling, you did say he's your favorite character.
He
sends blood to women he loves and Rajyasree.
His communications he sends bricks of blood.
Bricks of frozen blood to his communication.
It's a lot of blood to take out.
Yeah. So that is basically the takeover deal. Matson, Gojo, is going to be taking over Waystar Royco.
Which has lots of things.
Lots of things. ATN is one of the news channels, which is like a Fox News.
Yeah. So you get the whole thing of, how Fox played such a pivotal role in the Trump election. So the same way you see. So there is a version of Trump, again, a very good looking version of a Republican.
Yeah, there you're right. He's a good-looking version of Trump.
He's such a good-looking version of Donald Trump. Has never looked this good. But so it's really, so the dialogue is hilarious in Succession. So they say you're Nazi. They call him the Nazi and all that. And so how he wins, they call the election basically. And there's that whole thing about ballot boxes.
There's a lot of callback to, the stolen election theme that right after Trump lost. So you see like mini riots break out. So you see all of that. And ATN is pivotal in calling the elections, even though a few ballot boxes were kind of stolen or whatever. But that's just too much detail. Maybe we shouldn't go into that.
Yeah. So of the characters, who were you rooting for to become the heir of? So basically that's what the last episode is, that who is going to...
So I love what Logan says in this season. I think episode 2, right? Episode 3,
that they are not serious people.
Yeah, I really love you, but you're not serious people. And I think that
Which
is really...
comes throughout.
It comes throughout that, and that's why he just, while he's alive, he just doesn't want them to have it.
Yeah.
And that's cruel because he's their father. And he's promised them since childhood. And Kendall, the eldest, says that he promised me when I was 7.
And you also see how parents can really, especially rich, powerful parents, can really screw up their kids' heads.
And play the kids against each other.
So there's Connor, who is just shunted out by the three.
I love this dialogue by Connor, no? He says that the good thing about having a family that doesn't love you is that you can live without them.
Yeah. And he has that, he's the only one who has a working marriage, basically. But even that is looking quite sad.
Working marriage, I don't know.
Working. It's a working marriage.
She's married him for the money, basically.
And
so the kids are all screwed up. Kendall just, I think, severely lacks any sort of self-awareness. Yeah. He's just this guy and he's just me. And he can't read a situation.
Accept that he did commit that murder.
Yeah. And he still can't, believes. When he's at the boardroom, he just can't read what the situation is that he's going to get fucked again. Shiv is just annoying. Roman is a pervert.
They are a horrible bunch of people. So what I love about this show is that they have, normally there's always a redeeming feature.
Yeah.
Whatever, that the person loves his children or something. Like even Kendall's love for his children isn't really, it's a very weird
when they actually need him, he's never there.
But there is no redeeming feature to anyone, including the mother. The mother
is just horrid. Why did we not root for Shiv as women though? We should,
Because she's not a nice person. She's a horrible person.
And she says, there's also this thing about Logan never being comfortable with women, as seeing them as people.
And the boys will always.
So she could have been an anomaly and she could have kind of, risen to the top job.
So there's this whole thing. I
was not rooting for her at all.
There's this whole thing about, people love saying this after watching any show and any film, that, the women characters have been shown very poorly. Now, I don't see why it falls on writers of fictional shows to suddenly write these lovely, loving, well-balanced female characters, because they are not, they are writing good characters which fit into their show.
And women characters here are equally horrible.
Yeah.
Like the mother.
The mother is the worst. She's really, even Manisha.
Manisha
is horrible to his. So anyone would be Logan Roy's mistress, one of the many mistresses, but the most recent one, Kerry, is treated like dirt by his wife.
Bring her a little cab for her subway.
Yeah.
So that she can go to a little apartment. And the insult is the cab is still the subway, not her apartment. Yeah. Because she lives in a shitty place.
Yeah. And it's just that none of the women are really... Kelly, I felt a little bad for.
Actually, Ewan is the only good character. The grandfather, Greg's grandfather, who gives his wealth to Greenpeace.
Yeah, and really pisses off everyone. Yeah.
He's Logan's brother. And his speech is pretty interesting when he speaks about how Logan, as a kid, kind of, faced abuse, was emotionally abused.
Yeah, and he talks about, that's a nice story, that he gives that anecdote, which is there, that sometimes when you hear about people's past and their childhood, there will be something... which might explain why they've turned out the way they have. And this whole thing about how they were as children on that boat and they had to keep quiet. Otherwise, they'd die. They'd be killed. Yeah. That, I think that God knows what it does to a child when you're growing up.
So
that
it has that thing of the most horrible person who's wrought horrible things on this country has a really horrible childhood.
He did have a really bad childhood.
But I have a few great lines.
Yes.
And now, should I do a GK test with you?
And I'll
Okay, this one you can't get. Okay, these are all one-liners, which I loved from Succession. Just a few of them. But each episode has I think you just have liners that you can throw. You don't hear much about syphilis these days. Very much the MySpace of STDs. I love it. MySpace of STDs. That's the new CEO.
Shiv.
No, close. Tom. This was my absolute favorite from this season. Hey, come on guys, listen. Sure, they're young, they're fit, but they're European. They're soft, hammocked in their social security safety net, sick on vacation mania and free healthcare. They may think they're Vikings, but we're raised by wolves. It's an amazing line by Jerry. When she's in the plane and she's giving a pep talk, and basically the acquirers, Gojo guys, they're Europeans. Yeah. And these guys are Americans, and they're going to a retreat to kind of, the two companies are going to merge.
The day after Logan Roy has died.
Yeah. And they're going to merge, so they're a little worried about these high-functioning Europeans. And she's like, they're sick on security and social security and healthcare. And what do they know? They're weak. We're Americans. This is Greg. It's so good. HR says I'm the right guy for the job because it looks like I care, but I don't.
Also, when they sack everyone on Zoom. It was so good.
And it stops working.
Yeah.
And he's just like, thank you. And they're all like trying to but they're all on mute.
They're all on mute. So no, it is fabulous the way people just sack people off.
Shit, that was heartbreaking. That was heartbreaking. Okay, this I think you'll know. Carl, if your hands are clean, it's only because your whorehouse also does manicures.
It's Logan?
Yeah. Logan to Carl. And I loved
remember when he makes them play bore, whatever it was, he makes them get
on the floor.
Bore on the floor. That's his CEO, his COO, everyone, and Tom have to get on the ground and they have to pretend to be boars and they have to eat. Or go oink oink and they have to eat sausage. I don't know
and
what.
And he's trying to figure out who ratted out a company
and Tom
secret.
Is also part and Greg is also. Greg
and
is there
their corporate retreat apparently.
Yeah. And you're happy your corporate retreat was
at least it's happening in Europe. But I don't mind being bored on the floor if I'm being taken to Europe.
Going to Europe,
if my CEO is taking me to Prague, I'll do bored on the floor.
I will convey this bit of information.
To Abhinandan. Okay, Willa to Tom. At least I'm only getting fucked by one member of this family.
This is true.
Because Tom is just getting screwed by everyone. But he emerges the winner.
It shows. And you just suck it up, kiss enough ass, and be as slimy as possible. You will get ahead. That's what this show basically tells us.
And last one, which I thought the imagery of it is so good. This is Kendall about Logan. The dinosaur is having one last roar at the meteor before it wipes him out.
Yeah.
It's a nice image. But of course, Kendall gets wiped out. There's that Tom line also, no, to Kendall. That I've been here long enough and I've never seen Logan get f***ed and I always see you get screwed. So my hunch is you're going to get screwed.
Which is
and
true.
He gets screwed again. It's kind of sad. There should be a spin-off.
It's clever to stop the show right at its peak.
Yeah. That's what the writers also said, that we don't want our exit to be like, we don't want people to be saying shit. Yeah, it's a high
point.
They can't cap this. It is a high point. But there could have been a spin-off. I'll miss these guys. It was great fun.
They're such horrible people that you miss them.
So
someone, a friend of mine told me, I can't watch Succession because they're such horrible people. I said, but that's the whole point.
Kind of and the writer's a comedian. He used to be a stand-up comic.
Yeah, it's and just
they're basically comedy writers. So
which is why
it really comes through.
The timing and all is excellent. But before we shift to only audio, we have an announcement about your subscriber meet, which is that on 17th or 18th of June, there will be a subscriber meet in Bangalore where Manisha, Abhinandan,
and the News Minute team is going to be there. So there's going to be Dhanya and some other people from the News Minute team. So you can catch us all. We'll let you know the venue very soon. If you're in Bangalore, be free for those 2 days. It's the weekend. So I think you shall be free. So you guys
anyway,
can
in Bangalore, traffic is so bad, you won't be able to get from point A to point B over the weekend. So we'll tell you where. So you'll just be standing over there one day.
But it's going to be a joint meet with the News Minute and News Laundry team. So be there. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Okay. Now catch you on the other side.
The subscription model is something that keeps News Laundry afloat, but we need hundreds of thousands of people to completely transform the news ecosystem. So you pay for news, so it serves you. So click on the link with this video, subscribe to News Laundry and pay to keep news free, और गर्व से कहो मेरे खर्च पर आजाद है खबरें.